You've probably noticed it, right? The way we interact with computers is going through this fundamental, massive shift. We're moving away from clicking menus and writing really rigid code to, well, just something that feels a lot more human. Just having a conversation. So let's dive into the skill that's right at the heart of this entire revolution: prompt engineering. First things first, it's super important to get this one thing straight. Prompting isn't just some clever little trick. No, experts are framing this as the next big evolution in how we actually build software. It's a pretty big deal. And this is where it gets really interesting. You can kind of look at history in three phases. We started with Software 1.0, where programmers had to write explicit code for every single rule. Then came Software 2.0, which was all about machine learning, using huge data sets to train a model. But now, we're stepping into Software 3.0, where we program incredibly complex systems just by using our own words, natural language. It's a whole new ballgame. And let's be absolutely clear, this is not the same thing as a Google search. Not even close. When you're searching, you're looking for information that already exists out there somewhere. When you prompt an LLM, you are giving it instructions to create something totally new. It's really the difference between finding a specific book in a library versus commissioning an author to write a brand new one just for you. Okay, so we've established it's important, it's a new way of programming, but what is prompt engineering really? And why does it have that kind of formal, fancy-sounding name? At its heart, it's the craft of carefully designing your inputs, your prompts, to get the best possible output from an AI. You can think of it as this cool mix of being a fantastic communicator, a super logical thinker, and a creative problem solver, all wrapped up into one skill.
And that's really the key, As Zach Witten from Anthropic says here, a huge chunk of it is just clear communication. It's grounded in a skill that we all use every single day, just trying to talk to other people and make sure they understand what we mean.
Which of course leads to the big question, if it's mostly just about having a conversation, what's all this engineering business about? Sounds a little serious for just talking, right? Well, this quote really nails it. The engineering part comes from something you don't have in a normal human conversation: a restart button. It's all about that rigorous, iterative process of testing, tweaking, and restarting your prompts over and over to figure out what works best. It's about designing a conversation with purpose.
So let's talk about the mindset. How do the pros actually think? What are the core skills that a great prompter uses pretty much every single time they sit down to write?
Well, it really boils down to three key things. First, you have to externalize your brain. Get all that context, all those little assumptions that are just floating around in your head, and put them explicitly into the prompt. Second, you have to anticipate the weird stuff. Think about all the ways this could go wrong, the edge cases. And third, and this one is so important, give the model an out. Tell it exactly what to do when it's confused so it doesn't just, make stuff up.
Amanda Askell from Anthropic has the absolute perfect analogy for this. Just imagine you hired someone from a temp agency. They're competent, they're smart, but they've just walked in the door. They know nothing about your company, your project, your acronyms, nothing. What would you tell that person to get the job done right?
That's the goal. That's the gold standard. You have to strip away all your own assumptions and prior knowledge and communicate the task with such clarity that a complete stranger could walk in, read your prompt, and nail it on the very first try.
All right, so with that mindset locked in, let's explore the huge world of actual prompting techniques. And while we're at it, let's bust a really common myth.
And look, this is just a tiny sample, but it's here to show you that this isn't just guesswork. It's a deep field with tons of documented techniques. You've got simple stuff like zero-shot prompting, which is basically just asking it to do something cold, but then you have more advanced things like chain of thought, where you ask the AI to literally think out loud, step by step, to get a better answer. The point is, this is a serious discipline with a massive toolkit.
Okay, time for that myth, the persona prompt. You see this everywhere online. Act as if you are Steve Jobs or you are a world-class teacher. The thing is, with modern AIs, that's often way less effective than just being direct. Instead of making the AI play a role, just give it the direct context. Tell it what a good high school level chart looks like. That prompt on the right, it's almost always going to give you a better result.
As Amanda Askell puts it here, why pretend? The model knows it's an AI. It knows what you're asking it to do. Just be honest and clear about the real task at hand. That kind of direct communication is always going to beat some elaborate game of make-believe.
So where is all of this headed? Because I gotta tell you, the entire relationship we have with AI is about to get flipped completely on its head.
Think about it this way. Right now, it's a one-way street. We do all the work, we instruct the AI,
But the future is much more of a two-way street. It's collaborative. The AI is actually going to start interviewing us to figure out what we really want.
Just imagine explaining a task, and the AI comes back at you with questions like, okay, that makes sense, but have you thought about these potential edge cases? And when you said synergy, did you mean it in this context or that one? It's going to become a true partner in defining the problem, not just executing a solution.
And this brings us right back around. We're moving from a relationship where the AI is like that temp worker you have to carefully micromanage, to one where the AI is an expert designer you consult with. You bring the spark of an idea, and it helps you question it, refine it, and ultimately bring it to life.
So, in the end, it all comes back to this one simple idea. Prompting is a conversation. But as our conversational partner gets smarter and smarter and smarter, it forces us to get clearer about what we want to create and what questions we really want to ask. Which leaves just one final question for you. What will you talk about?